How's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast back with another video for you guys. And with this one, we're going to be making a quick review of Spider-Man Far From Home, which was released on 2019. Now, I want to say this follows up after Homecoming, but in reality, it follows up right after Avengers Endgame. In fact, if I remember correctly, which a lot of people were kind of confused about, this was the last movie for Marvel's, was it Phase 3, Phase 4, when it comes to the franchise. And to some extent, I can kind of see why, especially with, the kind of journey that Peter goes through in this particular film. But just to kind of give you a quick synopsis of the entire thing. It's directed by John Watts, written by Chris McKenna, Eric Summers, and various other people. Stars Tom Holland, Samuel Jackson, Jackie Gyllenhaal, and many more. To give a quick idea of the story, for those who have not seen it, we get an idea of like what's happened after, the 5 years of people being blipped. People are returning, or at least trying to return to normalcy, or kind of, I guess, a normal life after what happened with Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. Peter Parker himself is trying to get his life back together, but also trying to cope with the loss of his mentor, especially with given the responsibility of one, or at least the responsibility of one final gift from Tony Stark. At the same time, there's apparently something going on around the world where a variety of events are occurring, and it involves probably one of Spider-Man's famous villains, although not portrayed as such near the beginning, Mysterio. So, yeah, this will be interesting, to say the least. Well, actually, if anything, the movie itself is interesting, especially with how they do this. I mean, for a lot of us who know Spider-Man villains, we know that Mysterio is up to no good, and we know what he's capable of. And I know there's probably going to be a lot of people who aren't going to know, or at least didn't know who Mysterio was early on. So, to some extent, I will say it's interesting for those who are newcomers to see what's really going on. But all in all, this was actually a really good movie, especially with some of the I think one of my biggest like favorite things of this entire film was probably some of the sights. I mean, I think on the top of my head, they go to a variety of different countries, which I thought was pretty cool. I think the last one was London. Yes, it was London. So, all in all, like, especially with the final fight, it looks amazing. Like, downright spectacular. Tom Holland playing, just going into the characters, Tom Holland playing as Peter Parker was a lot of fun, especially with him trying to, again, cope with some of the things that he has to deal with now, especially since he's been given not just responsibility, but trying to cope with, a loss of not just a mentor, but a friend. Samuel Jackson, always fun, especially with his Nick Fury. Actually, I don't want to spoil it. You guys need to watch the film. Jack Gyllenhaal as Quentin Beck or Mysterio was actually really cool. And to some extent, you know what? Actually, no offense. I mean, especially with how he's played. As much of a piece of shit he is, like, near the end, I mean, you kind of have some idea of where he's coming from when it comes to, like, why he's doing some of the things he's doing. Going down a little bit further, Zendaya, hopefully I said that name correctly, played a really interesting MJ, and does quite a bit. Usually with my gripes, especially when it comes down to the love interest character, especially with the Spider-Man films, or actually, if anything, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films, I've usually gripe on the variety of different love interests. But when it comes down to Zendaya, again, hopefully I said that incorrectly, she did really well. I actually enjoyed her as MJ. She was a lot of fun, especially with her character being portrayed like actually very differently from, you know, typical MJ when it comes down to the comics. We had going down further down, because I'm looking at IMDb so I can get these names right. John Ferrero, hopefully I said that name said the name correctly, but playing Happy once again, which, you know what, you're gonna some people are gonna laugh, but I think I always loved Happy in the freaking in the movies. Happy is such a great character, especially with apparently this one, him trying to get it on with not Mary Jane. I almost said Mary Jane. That would have been creepy. No, Aunt May Parker. I love. There's a scene like near the end where Peter's like, "We gotta talk about this. We're gonna talk about you dating my aunt," which again, it's funny. It really is. So, music, as always, is really great. The action, CGI. I mean, with it, especially with current day, like close to current day Marvel films and films in general, really freaking good. I've really, really liked it. Especially like near the very end where it gets really, really freaking crazy. And you know what? I don't want to go into too much spoilers, especially when it comes to newcomers who don't know the Mysterio character. But with some of these scenes, I want to call them hallucinations. There's a couple of scenes where Peter Parker has illusions or hallucinations. Those scenes are creative. I actually think that those are probably a couple of my favorite scenes. So, all in all, looking like just quick in total everything, I enjoy the characters and the actors playing them. The music is really good. Action CGI is always great. And the story itself, which I didn't talk about, is actually really good. And it kind of associates itself with Peter trying to come to terms with not just his responsibility, but the loss of his mentor / friend. So, for those who have not seen the film, go check it out. It is a lot of fun to watch. And with that, I think I have said what I need to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Robin Novakast signing off. Have a good one, and take care. Peace.